Hello, my subbies. Hoita. Today, I would like to talk to you about common misconceptions regarding tattoos and piercings. First, I will start off on tattoo misconceptions. Now, when you first get a tattoo, you are probably very excited, very nervous, especially regarding the healing process. I know I was. And you might go a little overboard. You might even do that after the first two tattoos. It's all a learning process. I feel like those who have done it are old hat at it. They know their own tricks and tricks of the trade. They know what works for them. But you're still kind of figuring out when you first get tattooed. And it is a wound, and you feel the need to overcompensate. Like I did, I put too much ointment on my tattoo, on my second one, on my left hip, and it didn't heal quite the way that I wanted it to. Now, sometimes your wound acts as a sponge and it'll soak up that moisture. That's why they tell you don't get in hot tubs, don't get in pools during the first times when it's trying to heal, the first few months, what have you. Now, with ointment, it's the same principle. And when your tattoo will not have the chance to scab over and start to flake and dry out, which it needs to do, it will just stay mushy, and sometimes bigger chunks of your tattoo will come out, like the outline or the color, things like that. So you have to be very cautious about it. Typically, when you put on ointment, it's supposed to be a thin layer, and sometimes people realize that a little bit too late. And what I had to do was sometimes not even put ointment on for a day, or just dial it down so that my body would have the chance to heal and the scab would form to dry it out. Another misconception is, that I hear all the time, is in regards to tattoo sleeves, which it really bothers me that people think that when you get color, massive amounts of color on your tattoo sleeve or anything like that, it's very intricate, that it's going to look just muddled together once the color starts to the vibrancy leaves on the color. You could always get that touched up if that's really what you want, but I feel like it doesn't matter. If it's a good piece, it's not going to matter. It's still going to be a good piece. Any artist will realize that art is art, and if it looks really nice, regardless of color vibrancy, all colors fade. It's just what happens. You can put sunblock on, you could get touched up, you could do whatever, but it's still going to fade. And you just want to make sure that you have a nice piece. So that's something that always bothers me, that it's just that people just see it as one block of whatever, that all tattoo sleeves are created equal and that it's just going to be that way, because they definitely are not. In regards to piercing misconceptions, one thing that really bothers me, and I know that some people might not agree with me, is that tattoos are more high maintenance in terms of commitment than piercings. Now, I do not agree with this at all. I cannot, based on my experience, because, for this simple fact, and I will explain it, tattoos, once you make the commitment to it and it's healed, you know where the spot is, it's not going anywhere. Unless you decide to go get it removed, or you have to cover it up, what have you, it's not going anywhere. You put it where you wanted it, you probably thought about the placement, all that. It's said and done, it becomes a part of your body. Now with piercings, it's kind of touch and go. When you get a piercing, you have to worry about whether it's going to reject, how much you've been cleaning it, all of these things. And sometimes, even when you're not thinking about it, like years later down the road, your piercing can reject. It's a little odd, but it does happen. I have had piercings that I've had for maybe a year or more, and they've just decided they didn't want to be in my body anymore, and they've rejected. And another part of that misconception is that it's easy to take out and put back in and all that, and it's just easier. It's not. you also have to worry about infection. You have to worry about, making sure that you're being cleanly with your piercings, just making sure that everything's fine all the time, that you're changing your jewelry, you're making sure that it's high quality jewelry. All of these things are very important to maintaining a piercing because it is maintenance. I've had piercings that seem like they were just not meant to be in my body, that they were going to reject, and then I've pulled them around the bend with some good, rubbing alcohol and or ointment or whatever, and because they seem like they were infected. I know that that's frowned upon, but I tend to use rubbing alcohol if it looks like it's infected and I'm thinking about taking it out because I don't want the infection to spread, if I remove the piercing itself. But it will they will be temperamental. And there are some places that you will pierce a million times. Well, not a million times, because then if you really have to go that high, it's not going to work. But maybe 2 to 3 times, and you realize it's not going to work out. It just doesn't want to be on that part of your body. I think people think you can get pierced anywhere. Well, you could try it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's for you, for your own body. Everybody's different and can get piercings in certain places and some cannot. I also get a little upset about the whole concept of scarring. People get really, really agitated by scarring. I feel like if you are an adult, you have the money, you don't need consent from anybody, just get the piercing. If you are not worried about the scarring, just get it. Don't worry too much about it. Or if you are, get it on your ears, because if you have a lot of ridges, you can hide any kind of scars if you decide that it's not for you. But if you're worried about it, then maybe it's not for you. But scars are a natural part of life. You could get a scar at any point in time from not even getting piercings. You could scrape up your arm, you could do something like that, and it could happen. So you could approach it that way. It's just another story to tell. But if you are reluctant, I would say then maybe think twice about it. Do your research, but maybe sit that one out, sit it out for a while and think about it. So that has been my video on piercing and tattoo misconceptions. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And please subscribe, and I'll see you all later.